Hey there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another episode of Hobbyside. And this series is dedicated to the hobby aspect of miniatures wargaming, from painting of miniatures, terrain, just general discussions about the wargaming hobby in general. And on today's episode, we are taking a showcase look at the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers, which is a Necromantic Horrors team for Games Workshop's Blood Bowl. And as you can see here, the entire team is fully assembled. It is fully painted. It is based. And it is ready to bring glory upon the pitches of the Blood Bowl universe. So praise Nuffle. This team is finally completed. And at the same time, you can see here, I also got the Shambling Undead pitch for the Champions of Death. So that way it looks really, really cool, especially the nighttime look with the Vortex of Souls, and you got little spirits and ghosts popping out everywhere on the battlefield. It looks really, really sick. On the other side, of course, the daytime when it shows all these tombstones and gravel and stuff, so it looks really, really awesome. And as you can see here, this team looks really, really cool at exactly the same time. They look absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to see exactly what they do. So, as you guys might be aware, my gaming group and I are actually putting together a Blood Bowl League. We're actually going to try out the new rule set that came out for Season 2 of the re-release of Blood Bowl, and I have a lot more members of my gaming group who are actually really excited about actually trying it out. So because of that, we managed to raise up enough interest for it. We have about 12 players who want to play. Pretty much we're going to be breaking it down into two conferences, the Old World Conference and the New World Conference. And the Necromantic Horrors team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers, will be played by my friend, I believe Scream the Emo is going to be playing these guys. He's our traditional Vampire Counts player. So he'll be playing these guys in the Old World Conference, and these are the Crypt-Stealers. So you can see we actually painted these guys up in the traditional colors of the Blood Bowl game. So they got their black jersey, their orange jerseys with black stripes. They got black pants. They got this interesting green armor and black armor as well. And they look absolutely fantastic. I'm really, really happy with the way that this team really turned out. So let's go and talk a little bit about these guys. So when it comes to actually painting up the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers, I was actually quite hesitant to actually paint these guys up. And the reason why is because when you look at the box art for a lot of these guys, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers have like this interesting pinstriping on their armor. So if you look here on this guy here, this Flesh Golem, for example, he's got this really nice holly green pinstriping along his armor panels on his shoulder boards, on his shoulder pads, and that is primarily painted black. At the same time, you also have this beautiful black and orange jersey that the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers also wear, that's also striped as well. And I was a little hesitant to actually paint these guys up because I am horrible at freehand. It's just one of those things I've never really gotten used to doing. So you can see here, he's a little bit more of the striping on these guys. So because I was kind of hesitant to paint these guys up because I'm not very good at pinstriping for all that much. And the idea of actually doing freehanding for all the jerseys, the pinstripes on the jerseys, as well as the border of the armor, it just seemed really, really intimidating to me to do that. So, but of course, you know, you want to grow and everything else like that. So because of that, I decided to challenge myself on this, and I'm still bad at freehanding. I'm not going to lie, I'm actually still horrible at it. But for these guys, though, it wasn't actually that bad. Just because I just, made the striping on the jersey, as you can see right over here as well. So I started off with that, and I got a little bit more confident doing that. And then afterwards, what I decided to do is try doing that for the armor. Now, for the armor panels, I was not as successful on all the miniatures to do that. But then I had an interesting thought. I realized I didn't necessarily have to do the pinstriping for the armor for all the miniatures, just on a couple of them. And then just paint some other armor panels green, some other panels just straight black. And also at the same time, as you can see this guy, do some dry brushing of some wintergreen on the black armor panels to give this kind of like off green, kind of off black color for their armor. And just mix it up throughout the entirety of the entire team. And it actually worked out really, really well. So it looks really, really good. So it adds a lot of color variety to the uniforms that they're wearing. And gives the illusion that there's actually more different unique sculpts for these miniatures in order to do that. So I was really happy with it as well. As well as to actually add some diversity. If you look at their foot gear, some of them are wearing red, some are wearing blue. I did that in order to create some diversity, the illusion of diversity with the team. For those of you guys that may not be aware, when it comes to Blood Bowl miniatures, they actually, Workshop actually makes like they double sculpts what they do. They make one set of sculpts for the body, and then they double it. And doing things like switching out heads, for example, will kind of like create that illusion of diversity. So for example, if you look at these two werewolves, for example, they are actually exactly the same sculpt, but the heads, though, are different. So this one here, and the darker fur, he's got this snarling mouth head, while the one in the brown fur has like this cage muzzle around his face with a spike coming out of it. So to create some additional diversity, as you can see, like one stock of these guys I painted blue, the other one painted red. I made the armor panels a little bit different, so that way there adds some more variety to the miniatures to give the illusion that there's a lot more diversity in the miniature sculpts as well. So needless to say, though, this was a very fun team to play, especially since I was painting this around during during the fall. So it's really, really cool, very thematic. I love this Halloween look that they have with the graveyards, the gravestones, and the ravens and the pumpkins. You know, like the coins, for example, has a very much a Nightmare Before Christmas Halloween town feel to these guys. So they look absolutely fantastic. And I was actually surprised about the diversity of color ranges you could actually put in this team too, because, you know, most undead teams are kind of bland looking whenever you paint up miniatures from the undead. But these guys were actually quite diverse. Like these flesh golems, for example, I had a lot of fun painting because I was able to put different types of flesh, like green rotting flesh and normal pale flesh. This guy here, I gave him blue flesh as well, some like really pale blue flesh with some green as well. And you could add some variety of color. The orange and the black and the green are really nice complementary colors to one another, so it looks really, really cool when you actually get them all painted up. Now, if you wonder what's going on with the numbers here, the numbers, like for example, this guy here, he's number 3. What I actually did is I actually took ultra fine tip paint markers, acrylic paint markers, and that's what I used to draw the numbers. The reason why is because the transfer sheets are very, very fiddly, and it's very difficult to actually do transfer sheets, in my opinion. I've just never had very much luck with doing it. So because of that, I was kind of dreading like how I'm going to put these numbers on these guys because, you know, I didn't have any transfers. I'm really horrible at using them. But then my buddy Iron Major actually is like, why don't you use acrylic markers? And so I tried to do that. So you can see my little wraiths back here. I did that, drew the numbers on them directly. So I'm really happy with the way that they came out. Now, if you're wondering what's going on with the wraiths back here, you'll notice the wraiths are actually on flying stands. 40K style flying stands for like jump pack wearing space marines, that kind of thing. If you're wondering what's going on, I actually bought these guys online on Amazon. And actually, when they were brought in, unfortunately, the Amazon guys did not do a very good job of carrying these things through. They actually got damaged is what ended up happening. So for those of you who are familiar with the wraiths, you know that the wraiths have like these laundry lines that make the base of the miniature. You glue the laundry line to the base, and that's what they look like. They used to look like they're floating around. The problem though is that those laundry lines are extremely fragile, so when I opened the box, they just crumbled apart. They were shattered to pieces. And I tried gluing them together, but the problem was that they kept on snapping apart because there's a lot of tension put on those pieces into the base. So anyone who's ever painted up or assembled the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Those things are absolutely fragile and ridiculously thin, and they break very, very easily. So what I decided to do instead was to take some flying stands like this and then drill some holes beneath the wraiths and then insert it that way. And at the same time creates this illusion that they're still flying around. So, you know, do a little bit of glazing on the flight stands to make it look like it's a little more translucent and glowing, and you got a perfect mix. So that's exactly what I did those guys. So I was really happy with that. As you can see, the bases, of course, are typical wood glue sand mixture to make the texturing on the bases. And then, of course, I hit it with homemade flock. Iron Major and I actually know a guy who owns a wood shop, and we just actually get sawdust, and Iron Major makes his own homemade flock out of it. And that's what we use in order to paint these up. So these are absolutely fantastic. Really, really happy with the way they turned out. And then, of course, we run the bases in bright green to give the illusion that these guys are playing on a football pitch. Or a football field, rather. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with the way this came out. These guys have a lot of character for these sculpts. And I really like this Halloween theme that they have going on. You got these zombies, you got like these scarecrows. For example, this guy here with the typical like scarecrow head right there. He just looks really, really awesome. I just really, really like the way that these guys turned out. Lots of character in these sculpts, and they just come out absolutely fantastic. So yeah, these are the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. So yeah, I like the little ghoul guy here back there. He's got a pumpkin on his head. I really like this flesh skull with his exposed brain and stuff. It looked really, really awesome. And when I did the oil wash on these guys, it made extra sure that I actually cut the mid-wax polyshade with some additional paint thinner. So that way it wouldn't darken down the color tone too much, because I wanted to keep that cartoony, kind of like super kid-friendly Halloween vibe going on with the color scheme on these guys. to create that, like, you know, Halloween Town, you know, Nightmare for Christmas look. And I was really, really happy that that actually worked out. So yeah, orange and black is the team colors, and that's what I did for these guys back here to make for the 2 wraiths. But yeah, really happy with the way they came out. And this is the first team I've worked on because I actually put out a poll on my channel to see which one you guys want me to paint first out of the teams that we had listed, and the almost overwhelming majority of you guys wanted the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers to be painted next, followed by the Champions of Undeath. And that's what I'm working on next in our next video. I do have a cheap shot coming out for these guys, so that way you can see exactly how we painted them up. It only cost us 35 bucks to paint these guys up this way, so we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Alright, you guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest, greatest hobby news related to our channel. That's going to do it for this one, guys. I'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.